it is back to Nina. Because Nina is out and about tonight, where she has been foraging around for food to then cook. Yes, we're making our own dinner tonight with food that's been foraged. Nina's been in Bewdley doing this, joining in the Forage and Feast event, which is on at the Cook School in Bewdley, which I think is probably a safe bet. It was a good place to do foraging and then cooking. She spoke to Owen, who is an experienced forager, and asked him where else he likes to go foraging.
One of the places that I like to take people is the Ribbersford Trail, which is about a 3-mile walk, which goes around the outskirts of the town, through a few meadows along the river. That's my favourite teaching area, really, because there's a nice diversity of plants as you go along there. I do foraging in various places. I do some foraging at Haberley Valley sometimes, with the permission of the foresters there. And I've even been teaching over near Birmingham in the Lickey Hills recently.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And the Lickey Hills is surprisingly good, actually, for foragers in terms of what's there you can show people.
We've talked about the nutrients in the food that you get from foraging. What else is a benefit of foraging? I mean, is there a lot you say it's supplements, won't be able to live on forage stuff. So what else are the benefits of getting your food this way?
Well, I mean, I suppose it's a case of nature connection, really. It makes walking much more interesting if you've got a few plants that you can spot. You can impress your friends by talking about stuff that you see. And you're just getting closer to nature, I guess. Whichever way you look at it, that's what it will give you. And
so far I've learned, don't eat anything that's got red spots on the stalk.
Yes, especially when you're starting out. Red spots on the stalk is a sign that it's probably poisonous, yes.
OK, Chef Man, I'm going to have a chat to you a little bit later, Daren. Hello. How are you doing?
All right, thank you. Thank you very much.
I know you're going to get everything ready and cooked it later on. So what have we just picked here?
Just pick some sorrel, some nice sorrel from the grass, from in the field, yeah.
OK, and what will you be using this sorrel for later?
It will go into salads. If you taste it, you'll see why. It's beautiful. It's got a nice lemony flavour. So a little bit of a zing into the salad and gives it a little bit of sparkle.
So why are you giving it to me and you're not tasting it?
I'll go and pick another one.
Let's have a taste then. Yes, it's very nice, actually.
It is, isn't it? It's just fresh tasting, and just fits in. You can do it with fish dishes, and sort of it don't go very well when you cook it. It goes brown in a little bit, so I guess keep it raw, and just flash it through the fish. And when you've finished cooking it, just let it just sit there, and it will just steep and go softer, and it will bring something to the dish.
Will it? I'm hungry now. That was Daren Bale, chef, chatting to Nina about the benefits of using foraging in your cooking, presumably provided you know what to look out for and what are the perils of picking something out of the garden to cook and eat. Anyway, we're going to go back to that. We'll have a bit of a more detailed chat with the chef later. So Nina's been out foraging for her dinner tonight. Well, it's organised foraging. She's not just randomly dispatched to the local woods and asked to find something to feed us with. No. But nevertheless, she has been out finding food in the wild. So when you've been out in the fields foraging for tonight's dinner, what happens when you come back to the Cook School in Bewdley with your bounty? That's where Nina is tonight at the Forage and Feast event. Well, what do you do when you get back? That's the question Nina asked Louise Bale, who is there at the event in Bewdley.
So we welcome everybody in, they have a drink, take a seat, and then Daren sort of takes over from Owen, talks about everything that's been picked out the field during the day and creates dishes with it.
Now this is something he's created already. I've just been trying this. I've got the nettle bread and the garlic bread as well. Now the nettle bread is I'm going to have another taste while I'm here, because I've always, like I said, I've always thought, why would you eat nettle? Your head doesn't compute, does it? No. Why would you eat a nettle? But if I taste it, good, writing on it. It doesn't taste like how I imagined it to taste. It's actually quite sweet.
Yeah, I think it's sort of like your mind over matter. And that's what's great about doing the foraging day, because Daren will be cooking with things that you walk past in a field, hedgerow, and would never compute to putting it in your food. So it just gives people the opportunity to see it being cooked in everyday food and how delicious and nutritious it is.
There's a lot of talk about the nutrition because it's so fresh, and you're obviously going to be getting nutrients from it that you can't get from anything else. And about the Cook School itself, how did this all sort of start for you?
I guess we've been in catering all of our life from college. We've gone the full journey with it. And when we got lucky enough to buy this house, we had a large piece of ground on the side of the house, which we thought we'd build an oversized kitchen and be able to give back to the trade, really, what we've learnt all the way through our journey.
So when you say give back to the trade, what sort of things are you giving back?
Well, with Daren, all the skills and knowledge that Darren's learnt more than anything in teaching and showing people what how to cook, and rather than just homely ways, to show them lots of tips and techniques of the professional ways to bring the sort of professional traits into your home kitchen.
And the foraging is such a nice idea. I mean, around this area there is so much stuff, isn't there? Was it about 20 things you can forage just on your doorstep?
I know, it's incredible. We first met Owen when we just went on a foraging walk around Bewdley and walked along the riverbanks, and we're just blown away by all the amazing things that's just you walk past and never ever think to pick. And we're hopefully tonight with, like, he's making a chicken dish which has got the garlic in, and he's making a risotto dish with different herbs that he's picked out the garden, and also a salad which is purely made up of all the different leaves that they have bought.
And I've tasted a bit of that, and I've had a little bit of the salad with the different leaves.
Yeah.
And what is amazing is the really strong but lovely different flavours you get from the different leaves.
All come through, yeah.
And not just like a green salad, is it? It's quite citrusy.
That is the thing with
got
foraging. They are quite pungent and strong with each flavour. And I think that's probably why, like, as a child, you remember sort of maybe eating grass by mistake. And so you associate it to all that horrible grassy taste, where it's nothing like that at all.
No, exactly. It's sweet. The garlic is lovely as well. And the smells that are coming out of the kitchen are glorious.
I know, it's amazing. Yeah, the stock he made, it's just lovely. Really good.
I think they've had a very successful night, don't you? Wonderful stuff, getting their own food out of the garden and then eating it. There is a little bit more to come. Nina's tested the bread there, and she'll be testing the soup after 9. It's a full circle, and I think it's probably quite a healthy way to eat as well. Fresh stuff. Oh, if you've been following the show this evening, you will know that Nina is out and about making dinner, but foraging for it first. Going to round off our visit now, and we're getting down to the crunch, OK? This is the Forage and Feast event in Bewdley at the Cook School. Now, Chef Daren Bale told us earlier, you do have to pour hot water over the nettles that you might forage to take away the sting, OK? Right, well, one would hope that you're not going to eat just raw nettles. So you pour the hot water on, it takes away the sting. It does take away the crunch as well. But there is a nettley taste. I've had nettle soup before. I haven't foraged and made it myself, but I have tasted nettle soup. There is kind of a nettley, earthy taste to it, but obviously no crunch. But, Nina, what on earth is that whirring noise?
Kate, there's some whirring going on in here. Now, I've just picked out 2 volunteers. They're all sitting here patiently learning how to cook all the things they've been foraging earlier. Let me just go back to the chef here. So tell me about what we've got in these big pans.
Well, I've got some common hogweed and some nettles, and I've got some goosegrass.
It doesn't sound attractive when you put it like that.
We've made some soup, and what I've done is I've made a base of a soup using leeks and carrot and the usual essentials and some potato for body. And then we've made a nice vegetable stock. And then we've just finished it off. We've made the soup, and then we've just blitzed the greens into it, so it's all cooked lovely and green and bright.
Well, it does smell nice. It does actually look good. Can we have a taste? I'm going to go. If you come here, come closer to me, you two. What's your name?
Angela.
Angela, and your name?
Josh.
So, Josh, how old are you?
I'm 13.
So, what's brought you here today? Why do you want to come along?
Well, my dad's been interested in cooking and has been great friends with Daren. So, obviously, Dad got me into cooking. So, I'm just here to learn how to cook, so hopefully I can provide for myself in the future.
Oh, I see. What I'm gonna keep remembering your name, because you're probably going to be some kind of famous chef. Did you like the foraging bit about it?
Yeah, it was really fun.
What was fun about it?
Like learning about all the different plants that we like live around every day, because before I came here I didn't necessarily know like that there were so many plants that I could eat around where I lived.
And what about you? What have you enjoyed?
I've enjoyed everything. The sorrel I thought was really tasty.
I really like that.
Yes,
That was very nice.
Yes, I'm new to that completely.
I know, they're very nice citrusy sort of taste.
Yes, it was beautiful, yes. So that's going to be my party piece for the future. I should be looking
you've
out
got then a salad, bit of citrus.
Yes.
Maybe a gin and tonic.
Yes, maybe, yeah.
So if we come over here, let's come over to the soup now. We are trying it. This is a real test for you now, Daren, because we're standing here in front of a room full of people about to test your food here. So, go on then.
Right, so there's the soup. I've just purified it, and we've come into the close parts of finishing the soup off for seasoning. But if you guys want to grab a spoon and have a taste.
Let's have a taste
really
first.
Surprised.
Really surprised. Okay, so it's a very, very green soup, Kate. That's what I'm looking at. It smells very green. It smells quite spinachy, actually. I'm going to have a little taste. Oh, and that's very nice. That's very nice. It does taste It just tastes quite spinachy, doesn't it? It doesn't taste how I expected it to taste.
And I think what the surprise is that it is so normal.
Yes.
It's not going to taste alien. It's not going to taste out of this, to a point where you're questioning whether you like it or not. It's actually quite a really nice flavour. And that with a potato, you could sell it as spinach. But
it tastes proper fresh.
It's massively fresh. It's got spring in there, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Put a spring in your step.
But a spring in your step. I could quite get into this foraging. What did you reckon?
Creamy. It's very nice. I've made spinach soup myself, but it's more intense, the flavour of my spinach soup, than that. And I also put bacon in my spinach soup. So that's very creamy. That's nice.
That sounds good. And what about you? What did you think?
It was really nice. It's nice and creamy. That's definitely one that I'm going to have to get Dad to cook for me.
Ooh, a creamy one. So thumbs up all round for that one. Big thanks to Nina, out and about tonight in Bewdley. And she won't need her dinner tonight when she gets home, will she? She won't need to stop off at the fast food takeaway on the way home like she normally does. Stuffed up with nettle soup by the sounds of it. All foraged by her own fair hands. Probably with gloves on, if it's nettles. Anyway, fascinating to join in with the Forage and Feast event at the Cook School in Bewdley. Hopefully, maybe, you might have even been inspired.